tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Welcome, everybody, to another AfterBuzz TV after show for your favorite show, our favorite show, Revenge. This is season one. That's amazing. Season 4, episode 7, Ambush. I just got ambushed. Yes. I ambushed myself. I don't know, whatever. I'm your host for this evening, Anna Koppel. Here with me is the lovely, beautiful, talented Christina Kaplan.
Hello.
We are down Phil and Roxy. They're on some sort of special secret mission. Yeah, we didn't even make that up, you see?
Yes.
We have a lot to get into. Man, big, exciting stuff that happened. But before, I just want to give a quick shout out to Laura Michelle. She's 3 years old, and she's our biggest fan, apparently. So we just want to say hello, Laura Michelle, and thanks for tuning in all the time. So lots to get into. We have a reunion between Emily and Daniel. We have a quest for the truth by almost all the players. And I think we're both shocked that Emily revealed herself to David.
I'm definitely shocked. I really didn't think it would come out this soon. I mean, 7 episodes in, I mean, I don't know. I felt like they were really going to prolong this, and I'm glad that it did come out because I'm really interested to see how it's going to unfold. And, you know, obviously we saw at the end there, which I'm sure we'll get to later about, you know, with Victoria and that whole mess there. So I'm looking forward to see how this whole thing unfolds and what else she's going to find out about him.
Definitely. Yeah, and we'll get into it. But let's first talk about what I'm most excited about, which is Emily and Daniel.
Yes.
So I feel like we started out with Daniel looking on his laptop at their old wedding photos, and I felt like he was sort of reminiscing.
I did too. At first I was like, maybe he's looking for something like clues, or I don't know. I thought they were going to maybe tie something in there. But then once we saw them in the elevator later, I realized that maybe he was kind of reminiscing. And obviously he was asking her all those questions like, was it ever real? You know, did you ever have feelings for me? And I think maybe, I don't know.
He was very flirty with her.
Yeah, and I think maybe now that he knows that her mom has done... that his mom has done all this stuff and that she really is Amanda and she really was, you know, the reasons for her revenge were, you know, legit because she is the daughter of David Clark and all that. I think maybe kind of he became a little bit more sympathetic than he was.
I really want to believe that that's what the case is. Now, because revenge is never that simple.
Right.
I started to wonder, does he have ulterior motives here, and what might those be? And because I felt like to just go and be like, yeah, all I want is to not have this come back on me. I just don't want to be in the tabloids. But I feel like he gave solid reasons. I'm trying to separate myself from my family. You know what that's like, and so I feel like those were valid reasons, and he gave the same reasons to Victoria as he gave to Emily, so his story sounds legit.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like I'm, you know, not 100% behind him. That's all he wants. I'm thinking, I was thinking at least, I don't know anymore, but I was thinking that maybe he was going to try to, you know, get her story, like exclusive rights with Margot and then Le Marchal again or whatever, just like they did with David Clark's story. Thought maybe that was his angle, but I don't know. Maybe he really does just not want to be a part of it. And I just don't see.
I think he wants to be a part of her, though.
Yeah.
I really hope so. I don't know, maybe.
I do too. I love them together.
I do too. Well,
I mean, because in real life,
they have such natural chemistry.
Yes.
So it's really fun to watch them on screen, and yeah, and I do, again, I just think he was very flirty with her in that elevator, and I do think that at some point she had real feelings for him.
yeah.
So,
I mean, well, remember in some of those episodes, you know, she was getting kind of off track because she was, you know, it seemed like she really was in love with Daniel, and she kind of was forgetting about some of her revenge plotting and, you know, doing more of the, you know, lovey-dovey couple stuff.
well, at one point they were going to move to Paris together
Right.
and forget everything else. So,
Right.
yeah, it sounded like they were going to just have their own life. And she said she sounded like she was still angry about it, which means if you're still angry, you still have feelings behind that. And what she said was, the minute you aligned yourself with your father, we had no, that was the end of us. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited to see what comes of that. But in the meantime, Daniel has a couple of other women to deal with.
Yes.
Starting with Louise. Man, she just keeps getting crazier.
She does.
Yeah, I love it. She was hallucinating.
I know. It was a good part in the show, though, because we hadn't seen her mother ever before, and now it kind of was like, okay, well, we get what kind of a woman she is. But to me, I don't know if he felt the same way. It seemed like she is exactly like Victoria, but Louise just doesn't know Victoria well enough to know. I mean, I guess Victoria never necessarily, like, put her kids down in that way, like, directly like that. But I felt like this, like, it just was kind of a similar type of evil mother, you know. And
What about this? What if her mother died in childbirth and she has no idea what the woman's like, or died when she was very young, and she just has no idea what her mother's really like, and she's completely hallucinated her all of this time?
that would be weird and crazy. But where would she get these crazy, like, she would just
crazy.
hallucinate that she has a horrible mother?
Yeah. I mean, she's crazy.
Maybe. It could be possible.
I don't know, but I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe should have saved that for predictions. Okay, so so she, I guess, tried to kill Margot, which I think takes it like to level 10 pretty fast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because I was sure that she obviously was trying to get between Margot and Daniel by befriending Margot, but I didn't think that, I thought, you know, maybe she was going to try to become closer with her and, I don't know, figure something else out rather than actually just try to straight up kill her. Like, that was pretty crazy. And I just knew that was going to happen the second they walked into the steam room, and I saw the little temperature gauge next to the door, and I'm like, of course she's going to walk out and, like, turn it up or something.
Yeah.
I didn't anticipate her locking the door and all that, you know, having to break it down and stuff, but
Yeah, Margot apparently has the strength of, I don't know what to compare it to.
I know, because
but
those doors, I would think they're pretty thick, that glass.
Well, not only, but she ripped the whole bar off of the door.
Yeah,
So
like,
I guess maybe when you're panicking, that
the adrenaline, I guess.
Yeah.
And your towel just stays on perfectly the whole time. Like,
she's very sophisticated. You know,
She is.
Yeah, the French, man, they're a different breed. Okay, so she also finds Nolan.
which I'm
Louise finds Nolan.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm concerned about that.
I am too. Do you think she was stalking him?
I don't know. Or if, I don't know. I think there's something, she's going to try to do something that involves him. I'm not quite sure what it could be. But we know now from this season that whenever she meets someone, it's not just like a random meet.
Right.
She has ulterior motives behind meeting each person and getting involved with them. So I'm not quite sure what it is with Nolan, but
she gave him some advice that made him pretty happy
yes.
and satisfied, and he ended up buying the club.
Yes.
So I guess for now, good on Louise.
Yeah.
And so, speaking of Nolan, I forgot to mention this. With Daniel, when he was in the elevator, he had mentioned, "You're not the only one who can track somebody down in an elevator." Who do you think his tech guy is?
I don't know. I feel like it might just be, it's just some random person, or maybe it's that that PI that Conrad used to use. You know, remember that guy? It was like the same guy that he would use to find people. He wasn't a prominent member of the cast or anything, but I remember he popped up a few times in previous seasons. So maybe it was that guy, or maybe it's just some random person. I don't think it's going to be somebody that
Maybe it's Javier.
Maybe
it's, I don't remember his character's name, but EJ Bonilla. Bonilla. Well, we've had him in here a couple times. He's amazing. But he also used to date Nolan.
Oh.
So maybe. I feel like it would be a random thing to drop into the script to not have it.
That's true.
Yeah, you're not the only one with a good tech guy.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. I just feel like I'm always trying to
like everything, you have to read into everything because it's usually something else going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you think that this is the end of Daniel and Margot now?
I don't know. We've seen her, obviously they, have broken up and gotten back together before.
She's already forgiven him sleeping with somebody else once.
Right. So it might be the end. Maybe it's the end for them and the beginning of Emily and Daniel starting to rekindle.
The beginning of Amanda and Daniel.
Right. I was just going to say, now do we need to refer to her as Amanda for the rest of the season? Because now she's revealed herself.
Now I think everybody knows, right?
Yeah.
Jack knows. Nolan knows. Charlotte, Daniel, Victoria.
Now David. Yeah,
who doesn't know now?
Louise.
Yeah.
Margot, but I'm sure she'll find out.
Yeah. People are going to be tweeting about it.
Yeah,
so
right. What did Nolan have? 693 mentions or something like
something nutty. Yeah.
So popular.
Yeah. He is. I feel like that's him in real life too.
Yeah, now I'm excited to see. Obviously, they're going to figure out, I'm sure David's going to apologize to Nolan because he's going to realize that Amanda did get the money and Nolan did do everything he promised. So I wonder if he's going to do a public apology or how this is all going to unfold.
It better be a public apology.
Yeah.
It better be.
Yeah, that was so messed up.
Yeah, I still don't forgive him. It was
know.
No, we love Nolan.
I know. And I think Emily is right, or Amanda, whatever. I'm going to get all confused now, in thinking that there's something different about David. I think I want to know, obviously she's going to ask him, I'm sure, where have you been for all these years? I don't know if she'll confront him about the knife she found or whatever, but...
Well, everybody seems to be on this quest for the truth. Mm-hmm. Starting with let's start with Jack and Ben.
Yeah.
Since they sort of have the smallest story. So Jack sends that picture to Emily that he had taken of the double infinity, mm-hmm. right, in Mo's
garage, right? Yeah.
So what do we make of this? I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And but then how crazy is it that he and Ben are the ones to be called into Vince's homicide? Do you think that was an accident?
I don't see how it could be set up.
I feel like Emily has her ways.
Maybe.
If she can have Nolan trace a key.
True. And then actually, now that I think of it, do you think that when she found that knife that David hid, do you think she went and planted it at the
That was my gut reaction. Because I think even if she's questioning him, she still wants to protect him.
Right.
And this guy's already dead, and he already was, I don't know, investigating him, and I think it was just like the easiest way to cover it up, maybe, and protect Charlotte at the same time. And
yeah, so maybe she planted it, and then she was like the anonymous call that, you know, said there was a smell coming or whatever. I don't know why they got called. I'm assuming that's what it was, because when they first walked up, they're like, oh, it doesn't smell like someone's doing very good in there.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I assume they don't just walk through apartment buildings.
Yeah.
Just to smell them.
right.
Gross.
Yeah, I think you may be right. Maybe Emily did have something to do with, you know, them being the two detectives called to that scene. Or they're not even detectives, right?
They're beat cops.
Officers. Yeah.
They're beat cops.
Yeah.
They keep reminding Ben, hey, you're a beat cop.
Yeah.
Don't forget it.
I know. So weird.
Yeah. So, okay, so any more to say about how excited Ben is or anything?
Well, I don't know. I kind of feel like I don't understand why he's so like hell bent on figuring this out, like the whole Conrad thing and everything. Like, maybe he has ulterior motives, or is he just wants to be promoted that badly that he thinks if he solves this case that, you know, he's gonna be the #1 cop and be moved to detective and all that, you know?
I feel like there are other ways to make detective than this one case.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
So, that's why I'm kind of...
He has, like, a deeper investment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm starting to think that, too.
Because everyone is connected somehow on this show. Everyone has some sort of, like, ulterior motive for whatever they're doing. So I feel like something might come out about him in the next few episodes, or, you know, later in the season.
Yeah. He's your guy.
I know. I think he's cute.
Yeah.
And I apologize to fans for my grave mistake last week. I don't know how I got those two actors mixed up. The real actor that's dating Lady Gaga looks nothing like Ben. And actually, you know, I was thinking about it. I watched this movie. What movie was it? Oh,
Be sure you get this right.
no, it's the movie The Other Woman with
Natalie Portman.
No. It's with what's her face, the model with the big boobs, and Kate Upton.
Oh.
And Cameron Diaz and what's her name?
I don't think that's okay, maybe.
I think it's The Other Woman.
All right, whatever.
But he plays like the wife's brother. And I thought, oh my gosh, he's so cute. And I looked him up and realized it was Lady Gaga. And then I swear I saw Ben in a magazine maybe a few days later with some other actress. I think one of our fans told us he was married to maybe Jennifer Love Hewitt or somebody. They said it in our comments. I'll have to go back and check. But so then somehow I got the two like mixed up, and I don't know. I apologize.
Yeah.
It's
all
hard.
right.
These, you know, all these hotties, you know, I can't keep track of them.
Can't keep track of your hotties. Yeah, that's all right. These things happen. Okay, so David is also on a quest for truth, and he starts by talking to Jack at the police station and apologizing, which I feel like was maybe too little too late.
Yeah. I
You
agree.
basically publicly humiliated Jack also. Not as much as he did to Nolan, but yeah, he was basically saying the life you provided for my fake daughter wasn't good enough.
Right. I know. And yeah, and so I like the way that Jack like responded to him. He, you know, wasn't trying to, he didn't out anyone, he didn't throw anyone under the bus. He, you know, just tried to say it as best he could that Nolan really was Amanda's good friend, and obviously is to the real Amanda, and, you know, always helped all that. You know, I think he handled it very well, because he could have very well been like, screw you, you know, this is the truth, blah, 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 or not even, you know, gave him the time of day. And so I liked his response to that. And I think that kind of started David's, you know, speculation on, oh, okay, well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe, I need to look more into this. And then, I hate Victoria so much.
Yeah, she's the worst.
Because that girl, you could tell before we even saw Victoria that girl was just reading, like, saying a script. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Mrs. Grayson always came to check on Amanda, but Amanda didn't want her help. She was really looking out for your daughter.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that he bought that. Why not talk to more than one girl?
I know.
This is
I
your
think
daughter.
that was supposedly her best friend at the strip club or something, and that's why he went to her.
Whatever.
I don't know. I mean, it's unbelievable that he would believe it, but it's believable that Victoria would actually do something like that.
Yeah, it's believable that Victoria would do something like that. Yes, absolutely. Wouldn't put it past her for a second. And I think it's really like her comeuppance that she has to steal old jewelry of hers to pay this girl off. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry you don't have the cash flow to do that anymore, Victoria. That sucks.
Well, so was that the necklace, but then the earrings were in there too?
Yeah.
That David gave her?
Yeah.
Was that all jewelry from him, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know.
I just think it was weird that it was hidden in that little horse and that she actually let that horse be sold without, like, taking the jewelry first, or I guess she forgot until then. But I don't know, I thought that was, like, a really weird, like, it was unneeded. Like, it was unnecessary to have this whole scene where this woman bought this horse statue and that's where your hidden jewelry, I don't know.
Well, maybe she'll make another appearance.
Maybe.
So, so he also has, David also has his face-to-face with Emily. And I felt like it was a really powerful scene. And I just think Emily Van Camp keeps getting better and better.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that I have a ton to say about that, other than it was just so painful for her that, yeah, he didn't even recognize her. Like, here they are, they're having this whole conversation, and she's, like, right in his face.
Yeah.
And he doesn't recognize her, and he lies to her to say, like, oh, yeah, there's not a day that went by in that silo I didn't think about her.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like maybe he could have been, even if he doesn't recognize her, here's an opportunity to be more honest with Amanda's best friend.
Right.
For those of you who are only listening and not watching, I'm using air quotes. It's best friend. So,
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so Emily suspecting Dave. Something's off here. Enlist Nolan's help. Nolan is such a good friend because even though he's so mad at Emily, he comes over, he's like, yeah, it's fine because the world hates me, so
Yeah. I might as well just help you out.
yeah, got nothing else to do because I can't sleep because my thoughts are terrifying me. Yeah, so she breaks into the bank where she has her little flirty moment with you.
Yeah, and 39 seconds is more like 3 minutes, really.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
she wasn't even moving fast with the box or anything, and she checked her watch about 3 times.
Yeah.
Like, that's impossible.
Yeah, no, it's impossible, but I feel like if I were on a time crunch like that, I would keep panicking and looking at my watch, too.
Yeah.
But not, like, in slow motion.
Right.
But, yeah, so she finds his thumb drive, and, you know, all these files come up that say Amanda. And at first I had this, like, hope in my heart that, oh, it's going to be pictures of Emily, and he's going to know. But no, they're all pictures of fake Amanda.
Yep.
And I guess most disturbing one is there was a picture of fake Amanda and faux Amanda and Jack, you know, the sort of famous one we've seen in a lot, them getting onto the boat right before they go for their honeymoon, and, you know, she ends up dying. So the fact that he has that, you know, that he was that close to it, I mean, does he know who killed her? Does he, you know, like, how much information does he have?
Yeah. I don't know. I I think that was weird too, that he had all those pictures on there, and I don't know. There's going to be something, obviously, is going to be revealed that he obviously was watching her or having someone watch her for him. And so clearly he wasn't, you know, alone in this silo like he said he was. But I don't know. They didn't really, the pictures were all semi-recent, like in terms of her life. It wasn't like, I mean, all the pictures were just from her being in the Hamptons. So it's like maybe he just, you know, he hadn't been watching her obviously her whole life. It was just recently that he got pictures of her, but who got them for him and why and how? I don't know.
Yeah, who's his connect?
Yeah.
Who's his connect?
No, I guess, but unless he was like spying on her on his own, I don't know.
Yeah, because he was not in that silo.
No, we know that, yeah. I don't know.
You know, one of our listeners had a really great theory that, you know, if you'll recall, okay, we know that the white-haired man stabbed him in prison, right? And if you'll recall, his ex-wife, Amanda's mother, was dating the white-haired man.
Oh, right.
So maybe they helped him get out of prison, and maybe they were helping him.
Maybe.
So that would be, that would make sense.
Yeah, how would that, you know, be a real family reunion between her real mom, her real dad, and the real Amanda all together?
Yeah.
Maybe at the end of the season?
Maybe.
We'll see.
Maybe. I am really surprised. Yeah, so then she, you know, storms over there, get out, Victoria. And I can't believe Victoria left so easily.
I know.
So, and he recognizes her now right away? I mean, because of the tattoo.
Yeah. Because she said, you know, I always fought for your name, or you didn't even think of me, or whatever she said me instead of saying Amanda. And that's when he was like, wait. And then when he saw the tattoo, he was like, okay, yeah, this is the real Amanda. But I really liked that scene. I like the way that they found out, that he finally found out it was her. I like how they did that. And they also did a good job about, you know, showing Victoria get hurt. And even though Amanda revealed this huge detail to him, he still runs to Victoria's aid.
Yeah.
And it's like very, you know, what's the word? Just very, I can't think of the word that I want to use right now, but it just shows what he, you know, who's his number one, I guess you could say. I don't know.
Well, I think it's very representative of their relationship and how it was when she was 9 or 8 or however old she was.
Yeah.
But that's how she felt then, that, you know, she had this relationship with her father that was theirs, and it was special and it was wonderful. And Victoria came in and she felt kind of abandoned by him.
Yep.
And yeah, in that moment, that's exactly what happened. Now, in David's defense, what are you supposed to do when somebody gets electrocuted by a power line?
Obviously,
Like, you have to go to them.
No. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have gone. It was just very, like, it was just, you know, like we just said, exactly like how she used to feel. So it was kind of just weird timing, I guess, for her to reveal this secret and then for her to kind of go through those feelings again.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens next week when, you know, she tries to tell him that, you know, don't you know that she, you know, basically threw you under the bus and I've been fighting. I cleared your name. So I'm interested to see how he's going to react to all of that.
Definitely. Well, speaking of next week, let's get into some predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
What are you predicting first, Christina?
Well, I don't know. I feel like there's so much that could happen next week, and I don't even know. I can't even say for sure that this will happen. You know, like there's just a lot of open ends that we'll see. I think that David will continue to stand by Victoria, even though Amanda will, try her hardest to show him the real Victoria. I think that she, I think he still is just, hypnotized by her, I guess you could say. But I don't know. And then I also think something else is going to happen with Louise Ellis. Maybe we'll see what's going to happen with her and Nolan's relationship next week. Maybe with him buying the club, something's going to happen with that. I don't know, because she obviously, well, now that I think of it, Margot said she was going to sue the club, right?
Right.
So maybe now that's going to all fall back on Nolan. And I don't know.
They actually can't do that, like, retroactively, but
oh, really?
She could try. But, yeah.
Okay.
It would fall under, like, the original owner's
Okay, so never mind.
Yeah.
That's not a non-valid prediction.
I mean, they could maybe do it. I don't know that everybody knows that, so they could maybe put that on the show. I thought I had a moment where I thought that too, but then I thought, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, well, folks, I apologize because you're such a great audience and you give us such amazing theories and feedback, and from now on I'm going to start bringing in your actual handles and names so that I can credit you with your awesome theories. But for now, I'm just going to say that one of our YouTube viewers had this great theory that Charlotte is not on her way to rehab, that Emily sent her off to somebody like Takeda, like she was sent to, because, what was on this small note card, really, and that sort of straightened her out. I mean, it straightened Emily out in the same way, because she was down a troubled path as well. So I love that theory. I'd love to see Charlotte in, I guess we wouldn't see that happening. It would just have to come back as a reveal. But
yeah.
So I'd like to see that happen. Looking forward to something like that happening next week. Man, I guess we'll just have to see. But I do think it's going to be a real struggle or a real pain between Emily and her father, and him just like not getting in, him feeling like, oh, but she's in a hospital bed. So, yeah. But I think everybody's going to rally around her, and I don't know. But, always tell us what you think. Tweet at us, YouTube us, iTunes us. You always do a great job. Keep doing it. Christina, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Tina Cap.
And you can follow me at Koppel for Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYOR. You can find Roxy at Roxy Stryer. You can follow Phil. I don't know that he likes to give it, but you can follow him at AFTERBUZZ. And they will both be back next week. We will both be back next week, and we will see you then.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.